Hello guys, thank you for coming back to our platforms. My name is Izere Kevin and today we are going to be discussing about the jurisdiction. Today we are going to look about the different types of jurisdiction. First, what do we mean by the jurisdiction of courts? When we point on the jurisdiction of courts, we mean the power granted to a court or handed over to a court to adjudicate a case or to hear a case. So first, we are going to talk about the types and then explain later on what those types really mean. The first one is the subject matter jurisdiction. The second is the territorial jurisdiction. The third is the personal jurisdiction. The fourth is the temporal jurisdiction. And the last one will be looking on the universal jurisdiction. As lawyers, once we say the subject matter jurisdiction, automatically we should understand that we are going to talk about the nature or the value of the claim. When a court is given power basing on the subject matter jurisdiction, at that case, the court has the power to hear cases basing on the nature of the claim or the value of the claim. How is that value of the claim calculated? For simple ways, the value of a claim is calculated by first taking the principal value of the claim and we add on the interest that you entered into the contract, the interest that the litigant were supposed to gain from that contract. Second, let's look out on the territorial jurisdiction or the ratione loca. When we talk about this jurisdiction, that's the power granted to a court to hear a case basing on where the claim occurred or the place where the damage or the harm took place. So once we want to determine the jurisdiction basing on territoriality, there we look on the place where the harm happened or the damage took place or the place where the claim occurred. Second is the personal jurisdiction, also known by the Latin word as the ratione personae. Here, automatically, we think about the personality of the defendant. For example, if he is a military person, then automatically the competent court will be the military courts. And once it is a juvenile or coming to children or related to children, then the claim shall be submitted to the juvenile court. The fourth point is the temporal jurisdiction, also known as the ratione temporis. Here we automatically think or base on the time where the claim or the harm took place. For example, we can consider as lawyers the principle of non-retroactivity. This is a principle used also basing on time since, for example, if you commit a crime and at the moment of committing that crime, there was no law. And later on, it occurred that there is need of law to regulate such crimes. And then the law is enacted after your commission of that offense. That law can have no retroactivity on your crimes since at the time you committed those crimes, there was no law punishing or preventing your actions. That's where we can consider the jurisdiction basing on the temporis. So lastly, we are talking about the universal jurisdiction. The universal jurisdiction is power given to courts to hear cases without the consideration of the place where those claims or cases started from or took birth. Here, the simple example we can give is the international crimes. International crimes have the international law have given power to all courts to hear, punish, and prevent the commission of those international crimes. The international crimes here we are talking about are war crimes, crime against humanity, the crime of aggression, and the crime of genocide. So, once these crimes have been occurred in any place or any country, and the perpetrators get chance to escape justice, once they reach in another country, that country has power to punish them or either extradite them. That's where we think about the principle of aut dicere, aut judicae, where once a fugitive or a perpetrator of an international crime is within another territory of a country where the crime did not take place, that country has the power to punish him or extradite him to a competent court for punishment. Thank you.